When I returned early to my mountain cabin, I found a stranger cooking in my kitchen, and my HOA neighbor, Karen, claiming she'd loaned the place to her friend. She even called the cops to back her up. But when the officers saw my proof, the truth flipped their world upside down. After 20 years of working in the city, I bought my piece, a cabin in the woods, 5 acres of quiet land by Crystal Lake. I wanted distance from chaos, rules, and HOAs. My nearest neighbor was over half a mile away, Karen Mitchell, president of the Evergreen Ridge HOA, a suburban development that ended about 2 miles down the road. She was one of those people who believed the world worked better under her guidance. We met once when I moved in. She showed up uninvited with a welcome basket, cookies, a printed HOA manual, and a clipboard. "You'll need to read through this," she'd said, pushing the papers toward me. I raised an eyebrow. "This isn't an HOA property," she'd smiled sweetly. "Oh, we plan to incorporate your lane soon. Just easier if you start following our rules early," I laughed. "Not happening," she frowned. Well, that's not a good start for community spirit. After that, I kept to myself. The weeks passed quietly. Fishing, woodwork, peace. Until one Friday, I had to leave for a work trip in the city. I locked up the cabin, turned on the full surveillance system, motion sensors, door cameras, cloud recording, and headed out. I wasn't supposed to be back until Sunday night. But Friday's meeting ended early, so I decided to surprise myself with a quiet weekend back home. That surprise turned into the most infuriating moment of my life. When I pulled up my driveway Saturday morning, I saw smoke rising from the chimney. At first, I thought maybe a neighbor had stopped by to check something. But as I got closer, I noticed 2 strange cars parked out front, one of them with a Maple HOA parking sticker on the windshield. My stomach dropped. Unlocked the front door and froze. A woman I'd never seen before was standing in my kitchen, wearing slippers, cooking breakfast like she owned the place. She turned, startled, dropping her spatula. "Oh my God. Who are you?" I stepped forward, jaw tight. "I live here." "Who are you?" Her eyes widened. I'm staying here. Karen said it was vacant." "Karen?" I repeated. "Karen Mitchell from Evergreen Ridge?" She nodded nervously. "Yes, she said the owner abandoned it and I could rent it for a few weeks while my place gets renovated." My blood boiled. "She told you that?" "Did she give you a lease?" "She said it was verbal," the woman stammered. "Her friend's property." I took a deep breath, trying to keep my voice calm. "Pack your things. Now." Just then, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Karen. "I heard you're back early. Don't harass my tenant." I dialed her immediately. "Karen, there's a stranger in my house." Her tone was cool. "Not a stranger. She's renting. You weren't using the property, so I made it useful. We've had squatters before. I was helping." "You broke into my cabin and rented it out?" "Don't be dramatic," she said. "You weren't here and your mailbox was full. We assumed you'd moved out." I could hardly believe what I was hearing. "Karen, you have 30 minutes to fix this before I call the police." She laughed. "Oh, I already did. You're trespassing on occupied property." 15 minutes later, I heard sirens. 2 sheriff's deputies pulled up the dirt road, lights flashing. Karen followed in her SUV, stepping out like she owned the mountain. "There he is," she shouted before they could speak. "He's harassing my tenant." "I told him this property is under HOA protection." The deputy raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, this cabin is miles outside your jurisdiction," Karen huffed. "That's a technicality. We expanded coverage." The other deputy turned to me. "Sir, can we see proof of ownership?" "Absolutely." I handed them my ID and property deed, along with the utility bills in my name. "It's all up to date." Karen folded her arms, smirking. "That could be forged." "I have HOA documentation that—" "Stop!" the deputy said sharply. "HOA rules don't apply to private unincorporated land." Karen tried again. "He abandoned the property. The community took stewardship," I grinned. "Want to see something?" I pulled out my phone and opened my security app. The live feed loaded instantly, every angle of my cabin covered. I showed them the video clips from the previous night. 8:12 p.m., Karen unlocking my gate. 8:17 p.m., Karen and the same woman carrying boxes inside. 8:43 p.m., Karen waving at the security camera and saying, "Perfect. She'll never know." The deputies watched the footage silently, then looked up at Karen. "Ma'am," one said slowly, You just admitted to breaking and entering. On camera, Karen's face drained of color. That's not what it looks like. It looks exactly like what it is, the other deputy said. You entered a private property without consent and allowed someone else to live there. Karen tried to backpedal. I was preventing squatters. I was protecting property values. The woman inside the cabin came to the door looking terrified. She told me she had permission. I didn't know. The deputy sighed. Ma'am, you need to pack your things. You've been defrauded, Karen lunged forward. You can't evict her. She's my guest. The deputy held up a hand. No, ma'am. He is the owner. You and your tenant are trespassing. When they escorted Karen off the property, she shouted over her shoulder, You'll regret this! The HOA will sue you! I called after her. Good luck suing someone who isn't in your HOA. Once they were gone, the deputies helped the woman, her name was Linda, collect her things. She apologized over and over, tears in her eyes. She showed me a fake lease, she said, showing me an email chain where Karen had posed as property manager. Karen had even demanded $200 in cash up front for security deposit and maintenance. Keep all that, I told her. You'll need it for the report. We filed statements that same evening. Karen was charged with trespassing, fraud, and unlawful rental activity. The sheriff's department took my camera footage as evidence. Word spread fast. Within a week, Evergreen Ridge residents were furious. Turns out, Karen had been pulling side deals with multiple properties, claiming she could extend HOA jurisdiction for a fee. 3 board members resigned immediately. By the end of the month, Karen was voted out entirely. When I ran into one of her former neighbors at the general store, he laughed. She's been banned from HOA management statewide. Apparently, the county called her a one-woman crime wave with a clipboard. I smiled. She picked the wrong cabin to mess with. Back home, I upgraded my locks, added new security lighting, and posted a new sign at the gate. Private property. Not under HOA jurisdiction. Trespassers will be recorded and reported. The best part? My insurance company reimbursed the small damages she caused and used my footage as a training example for unauthorized occupation cases. A few months later, I got a letter. Karen had pleaded guilty to misdemeanor trespassing and fraud, fined heavily, and placed on probation. The day I read it, I sat on my porch with a cup of coffee, watching the sun dip behind the trees. My cameras blinked quietly, recording the peace I'd earned. No HOA rules, no fake neighbors. Just the sound of the forest, and a reminder that sometimes freedom means protecting what's yours, even from those who think they know better.